Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this Acer, let's see, model CB3-431-C539. So this laptop has a broken screen. Half the screen is blank, so we have to replace that. So in order to do that, you can take the screen out without taking the whole computer apart, but to be safe, you have to disconnect the battery and hold the power button, because otherwise you can damage the main circuit board or the motherboard or the logic board, whatever you want to call it these days. So anyways, you got to remove all the screws from the bottom. You'll have to use a PH0 or J0 screwdriver. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, once you do that, open the screen slightly and then use your fingernails or pry tool between the gap here. Alright, so between this gap, oh, it's turning itself on. Anyways, what you do is you use your fingernails and then you push with your thumb. Don't push on the trackpad area, push on the palm rest area, so that way you don't accidentally push the trackpad into the computer. Alright, so I'm gonna have to turn this off again. Alright, once you do that, flip it over and then get your fingernails or pry tool in the gap that was created and then slide your fingernail or pry tool along the side. Alright, just like this. And actually the whole cover came out pretty easily. If it didn't come out, you do have to continue like prying along the sides, okay? So this is what it looks like, the cover. Right, I'll have to clean this later. We'll set that aside. Alright, and then all we want to do is disconnect the battery. So the battery connector is here. To disconnect it, just get your fingernails and then just grab the wings and just wiggle it and it'll come out just like that. If the cable is too short to where there's not enough slack to pull the cable out completely like this, you might have to actually take the screws out and then lift the battery up. So it looks like there's only 2 screws here. I might as well show you what's inside because it is a very simple build. There's not really anything you can upgrade. I'm not going to take the board out. Sometimes the RAM can be upgradable and stuff, but most of the times Chromebooks, they're basically built like phones where none of the components are really swappable. So here's the battery. If you need to replace the battery model number is here, AP13J4K. Okay, so that's the battery. If you need to replace that, there you go. Alright, and then here you can see the trackpad cable. You got the keyboard cable. You got the LCD connector here. So the LCD connector actually has, oh, it doesn't have a metal latch. It just has this tape over it. So if you're going to mess with that, you're going to have to peel up this tape and then just pull it straight back. Usually before messing with the LCD cable, you'll want to hold the power button for about 15 seconds after disconnecting the battery, just to be safe. Alright. So on this model, I don't think we need to take the whole LCD cable out. Hopefully we won't have to take the hinges out or anything. Then you got this separate audio board with the LEDs and the speaker port. So if for some reason your headphones jack stops working or the speakers stop working, you might have to replace this board or this cable, or it might have gotten damaged here. You got the charge port here. The cable comes out just like the battery. Just grab this with your fingernails and then just wiggle it and it'll pop out. And then it looks like the charge port is held in with this little bracket. So if you do damage this, I don't want to peel this stuff up because I'm not changing those parts. But basically you'd peel off this tape and then you'll have to use a thin pry tool or something to pry this and kind of pull away this, I don't know what you would call this clip that's kind of holding it in place. Alright, and then you can pull that out. Everything else is part of this board, so you can't really change it. The keyboard cable, it just has these 2 wings that you pull down and then you can pull the connector out. Alright, so be careful when you're pulling this clip down. Some people will pull it too hard and break that off, and same thing with these clips. Be careful when you lift it. It just goes up, it doesn't fold all the way back. Okay, so now that we got all those pieces, let's see, the trackpad. I don't see a way to replace this trackpad. It must be held in with an adhesive from the other side. I don't see, oh, actually, screws are probably underneath this tape here. But yeah, I'm not going to peel it up. It looks like you can replace the trackpad. Anyways, so we'll get to changing the screen out. So just like all the other models, there's a plastic frame, or not all the other models, but a lot of them. So to get this out, you just go use your fingernails and get between the frame and pull this out. Okay. Sometimes it helps to start towards the top, so it's going to be hard to see what I'm doing, but okay. So as you can see, I'm pulling from the top and the frame is coming out. There is an adhesive, so if the adhesive gets stuck, you can use like a small pry tool and just kind of push the adhesive in. Okay, so that way it stays and doesn't stick to the connector. So the way I like to remove these is I pull out on here and push inwards on the outside with my thumb, and that releases the clips. Okay, so same thing with the top area. All right, I'm going to turn it back around now so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so here we go, just like this. Make it look easy. It might not be this easy for you, but yeah. Okay, so the frame is coming out without removing the whole screen, but there is this strong adhesive here, so you might have to use a tool to push the adhesive back or scrape it away. Okay, so here you can see the adhesive is kind of making this whole panel stuck. So let's see here. It looks like I'm going to have to do it slowly and just peel away this adhesive. Okay, if you're doing this, be very careful because underneath there's the cable. You don't want to accidentally hit the cable or damage it by trying to pry this out. Alright, usually I would like to use my finger to do this, but when you do that, it puts more pressure on the screen. If your screen's broken already, then it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to use the tool anyways because I feel it's safer. Alright, so just do that. Cut all that adhesive up. Alright. Okay, I hate when they use adhesive like this. The clips are already good enough, so it's kind of pointless, but it makes the job a lot more difficult. Okay, continue peeling the adhesive away. Okay, it's coming out. All right, almost there. Let's see. Okay, hopefully that should be it. And then we can pull the screen out. So this clip is still kind of stuck here. Oh, it's still adhesive. So make sure to cut all the adhesive out. There we go. Alright, then we got this. See, they put so much adhesive on this actually on both sides. Okay, so once you got all of that out, then we can remove the screen. So to remove the screen, there are 4 screws. Again, make sure after you remove the battery that you held the power button down. Okay, anyways, there's 4 screws under here. I believe these are actually PH1 or J1, but you can use the PH0 or J0. Just make sure you put enough force that the screwdriver won't jump out of the screw, so you don't strip them. Okay. Alright, those 4 screws out. Okay, once you got the 4 screws out, lay the computer back down. Alright, usually with these, with any electronic device, just as a warning, you want to make sure you're grounded because you don't want static or anything to build up and then end up destroying the components. Okay. Alright, once you got that, then you want to peel this connector, the tape or adhesive off. This helps hold the LCD connector in place. Okay, so this is going to be a little tough. Let's see here. Might have to use this tool to kind of pry underneath. Alright. Once you get enough of it up, you can hopefully peel this off. Wow, this adhesive is really strong on this one. Okay, there we go. Alright, so once you get the adhesive up, it's actually separating from the plastic tab, so okay, peel that off. Alright, once you do that, you just pull the connector straight back. Okay, make sure not to pull up. Alright, then you got the screen out. We are going to have to put some new adhesive because the adhesive got stuck here. I don't think I can peel this out to reuse it, or I'll try it. Okay, well, we got some of it, but I don't think that's going to be good enough. Alright, so now you just take the replacement screen, set that in place. Let's see if I can put this adhesive here just to make it a little bit useful. Okay, peeled off. How did this peel off? We'll just put it back. It should help hold either way. Okay, put this adhesive there. Alright, the screen, just line it up. Make sure not to yank on this cable too much because they are fragile. Alright, line up the connector. Make sure it goes underneath the side parts. They have little holes so you can see that it's actually going underneath. Alright. Alright, once you make sure it's underneath, you just pull the tab, pull it forward. I try and avoid pulling the tab too much, and I try and actually use my fingernails on the golden connector to pull it forward because sometimes the tab will actually bend the wires in the cable upwards. So we'll put that cable down and then we'll use some extra tape to hold it because that adhesive got bad. Alright, so we will cut a piece of tape. Alright, and then we will put the tape there. Usually for these things I like to put a little fold in the tape so that way you can use it as a tab to remove it in the future. Alright, so we'll put the tape there. And then we just lift the screen back up. The replacement screens will usually come with this protective plastic sheet on top, so you do have to peel that off. Or you can leave it on there, but I wouldn't recommend it. Some people leave it there to, I guess, protect the screen, but it actually will kind of get scratched very easily and then it'll look bad. Okay, so anyways, put back the 4 screws. I am using a J1 or PH1 screwdriver bit, so yeah, that's why it's kind of gripping pretty well. I think same thing with the battery. Yeah, same thing with the battery screws. You want to use a PH1 or a J1. Okay, now that we got the screen back in, we'll put the battery. We'll leave the frame off for now because we want to make sure it works before we put that back in. Alright, line it up, put the battery connector in, reconnect it. Alright, then lift this up. Oh, I probably should have done that first. So you want to make sure these bottom parts go into these slots, but it looks like there was enough slack for me to do that without taking the whole battery out. Okay, and then put the 2 screws back in. Alright, now that we got the 2 screws back in, some models, once you remove the battery, they require you to plug them in to turn them back on. We'll see if this model has that issue or not. Alright. Should probably clean this up a little bit. Okay. It's kind of dusty, so I'm just going to dust this off. Alright, this has no fans in it actually, so I don't know how dust is going inside. It's not really, no, there's no fan in here, so yeah, I don't know why dust is inside of it. But anyways, we'll put this back down. Alright, make sure kind of snap it in place so it doesn't move around. Flip it back over and let's see if the screen is good. Do I need to plug it in? Let's see here. Yeah, I might need to plug it in. So let's see here. Got the charging cable. Where did the charging cable go? Got that, got this one. That, put it under here. That's for the Dell. Oh, here we go. It's right in front of my eyes. So plug this in. And hopefully everything turns on properly. Okay. Plug in the power. Charge light's coming on. There we go. Saw the screen flicker a little. There we go. So now you can see the screen is working perfectly fine. So we can peel off the this plastic sheet. All right. I'm going to cover the username, but I will show you. The screen works perfectly fine now. You can see actually all the buttons on both sides are working. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is to this. I guess I'll show you snapping the screen back in place, or the screen panel. Let me actually shut this down. Okay, so to snap this back in place, all you do is line it up. I usually like to start with the top because you can actually see where it goes. And then I push towards the top, kind of keeping this outwards, just like the same as you would do when you take it out. So it's the same thing, but you put pressure inwards instead of pulling the frame away. Okay, so just go all the way around. All right. Be careful while pushing on these near the base of the screen. You don't want to put too much pressure and then break the circuitry for the screen. All right, so there we go. We got it all back together, and now it should turn on. All right, yep. So as you can see, it's turning on and completely filled. All right, so now I just put back all the screws, and that's all there is to it. So hopefully this video helped you. If it did, please like and subscribe because that'll help me. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.